Here is a 2023 Lexus UX 250h F Sport with the dynamic handling package. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over what's new, starting with they only have hybrid options, no more non-hybrid for the year. The F Sport is all new, updated in the chassis and the suspension. We have the dynamic handling package, which will give us adaptive dampers, so it will be more of a sporty ride, but it'll still be soft because it's retuned. And to answer the question, is this a Toyota CHR? Well, it's going to look similar. The powertrain is going to be more powerful. The platform is derived from the Corolla, by LED headlamps with the signature daytime running L that brushes into the enlarged Lexus grille that's gloss black because of the F Sport package, which blackens out the exterior, giving a rugged profile, giving us gloss black side view mirrors, roof rails, LED cornering lights, fog lights, the lower roof spoiler, and finishing off on the lower bumper trim. The F Sport dynamic handling package also gives us dynamic dampers, which makes the drive a little bit more sporty than the standard McPherson strut front suspension multi-link rear suspension setup. You will also get these 18-inch split 5-spoke gloss black machine finish alloy wheels, color key fenders, so it will be the same color as the body paint instead of a matte black. Here, the gloss black, I would have appreciated it just a touch more because they put the matte black on the lower skirt. 37 horsepower more than the discontinued Toyota CHR. This is a 2.0 liter, 4-cylinder hybrid engine with 181 horsepower. You're going to achieve 43 mpgs for the city and 41 mpgs for the highway, reaching 60 at 8.4 to 8.6 seconds, depending on front wheel or all-wheel drive models. So when I'm looking at a luxury vehicle that sips gas, it's really nowhere else you're going to look because you would have to downgrade into a Honda. You're not going to receive anything in the Infinity line for a hybrid. So I understand why the CHR was discontinued, because the Lexus has thrived and pushed forward with more styling attributes, a more dynamic ride with standard LED tail lamps. I do like how the aerodynamics flow in between the gloss black that panels from the lower roof spoiler and your tail lamp assembly, because it gives more of that dynamic vibe which they're trying to accomplish. Towing is around 1,600 pounds, and because this is a hybrid, I don't mind not seeing exhaust outlets because I'm looking to save on MPGs. I'm a little tall, so I do have to bend over. Power liftgate. We have storage underneath the floor, and underneath that we have even more storage. 12-volt charger. Split fold the rear bench at a 40-60 split to maximize the cargo. F Sport gets the more sporty seat with leather 10-way power seat adjustment, F Sport badging in the headrest, 8-way power seat adjustment for the passenger, memory for the driver, heated and cooled seats. The dashboard layout will be similar to the old Toyota CHR, but it's a little bit more of a sporty twist with the contrast stitching. 8-inch is a standard touchscreen. We have the 12.3 with Apple CarPlay, wireless, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Wi-Fi hotspot. Put it into reverse. We got a reverse camera. The trajectory will expand out when you turn the wheel. And you can also take those lines off and change the camera angle, dual climate control settings, wireless charging pad, 2 USB, the key fob for the UX, leather around the shifter, and this is from the F Sport, so it's going to be more dynamic. The same thing with the steering wheel and the badging with the contrast stitching, multi-function, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, aluminum paddle shifters instead of plastic. The gauge cluster will also be more sporty with 5 different driving modes, which, when you change them, the Sport S Plus will make a nice little bass noise. You have Eco, Sport S, Sport Plus, and you can custom it as well. When you go into custom, go into the settings, and you can make the powertrain and chassis as dynamic as you like. More simple and cleaned up center cluster with the EV mode, and it's soft where it needs to be, and it opens up 2 directions with a 12 volt and a USB port. The dashboard and the door panels configure into each other, but it's going to have more of your everyday materials found on the top part. It's going to be soft where it needs to be, one touch up and down for the windows, and a medium-sized storage pocket with a couple of beverage holders cut out. Because it's the F Sport, we also have the moonroof. Headroom is at 37.5 inches. Leg space is at 42.1 inches, and it is a pretty deep footwell for the front occupants for the size of the vehicle. For the back seats, 36.3 inches of headroom, and as you're seeing, it is more sloped down here, so it is carved out. Leg space at 33.1 inches, so it's not too much of an issue, but it is going to be tight. You get 2 USBs in the back, your air vents, and storage only behind the passenger seat. The door panel gets the same materials that's found in the front, so every day, and then it softens up where it needs to be. No storage in the door pocket. Sitting into the center headroom is going to be a bit of an issue, even though it's kind of carved out for you. Leg space is going to be the same. If you're tall, over 6 foot, you're going to be against it. And feet space you will be sharing along with butt space and shoulder space. The rails are not pushed back far enough, so you will be sharing a little bit more feet space, but it is a smaller SUV. 20.5% more horsepower than the Toyota CHR. 181 CVT transmission. Let's rock and roll. You get a nice tune that filters in through the speakers. I do like how Lexus does that, especially when you put it into Sport Plus. You get that little toot-toot noise. I mean, that is cool. It's not something that's going to be over the top. I mean, you're around 8.4 to 8.6 seconds 0 to 60, so you don't buy this for speed, but I would buy this with the dynamic handling package, because otherwise you're just getting aesthetics. You don't get the adaptive damper, so you're gonna have to spend a little bit more than just getting the appearance. This is new for 2023, and where it's a hybrid, it puts itself in another class, because there isn't really any vehicle that can be comparable to this at the price point, considering you're getting over 40 mpgs. This is an everyday blend, and it does have that fun factor behind it, because when you push the throttle, it sounds very energetic and athletic, even though the numbers don't project that. You do have full EV, so the engine will turn on and off, and since I've been driving the vehicle, I haven't really heard the engine at all. The acoustic windows do keep the car silent. It's not as butter smooth as a normal or traditional Lexus, but I expect it to be a little bit more athletic. The seats also are more supportive when you get the F Sport. The steering wheel, the gear knob, these are all F Sport packages. I'm gonna put it back into Sport mode, or Sport S. Here we go. I mean, I could beat a school bus. So it's definitely the daily use blended in. And most of the vehicles nowadays are getting 7 to 9 seconds 0 to 60. So it's not something that's out of the norm. If you go into Mazda, the CX-30 is going to be sporty, but you're not going to be getting the MPGs. That's going to take me to some pros and cons about the UX, and we're going to start off with a few pros, which you already know about the MPGs. I like the soundtrack that filters in, but what I have noticed that I dislike is it doesn't coincide with the RPM. So it's almost like internet being bogged down and you're watching this film or you're watching a video and the lips are moving and the voice is going before or after. So that's the same way because this is a hybrid engine. I wish that was more together, because when I push the throttle or gas pedal, I feel that sound. I don't actually feel it like going back in my seat, but I don't see it on the gauge cluster. I like the gauge cluster setup because it is more dynamic when you get the F Sport. The seats are more comfortable. The interior layout is more dynamic. The exterior gets the appearance package. So there's a lot of pluses when you get into the F Sport, and the dynamic handling package takes it further because it feels a little bit more athletic. The cons are things I dislike about the vehicle. You already heard about how it doesn't coincide with the RPMs. The next thing is it sits low to the ground, which I have to put the seat all the way down for me, otherwise I'm going to be hitting the headliner because I am tall. So anyone over 6 foot, it's going to be a gauge to it. So it feels almost like a sedan, kind of similar to the Toyota Crown, where it has that feel of an SUV and a car. And I want to feel like I'm more in an SUV here instead of a car. Towing isn't going to be that great, around 1,600 pounds. The back seat feels a little tight and cramped, which it's only 177 inches, so I can understand, but then there's no storage behind the driver's seat or in the door pocket. So it makes it a little bit less usable for a family of 3 to 5. Cargo capacity is also tight. You do have some storage underneath the floor, which I do like that because it gives an extra maybe 2 to 4 cubic feet of storage because it isn't that deep of storage. And as for dynamics, show you a little bit here. You can maneuver in and out of lanes without any problems. Smaller vehicles, that is one pro to them, that you just have the ability to go in tighter spaces, which you're not going to receive that in something that's longer, especially if you're looking at an RX. So it is a mid-size blend. The BMW X1 will be more dynamic, especially with the 50-50 weight distribution. Audi will also have a little bit of an athletic feel, but MPG's everyday drive service is going to be less. Because it's hovering around a $47,000 to near $50,000 price point, I would have liked to see a little bit less harder materials throughout, because this is not as traditional for Lexus when you start going up the price point. The way they've integrated the screens, great job. I don't like that they offer an 8-inch as a standard screen setup, because it would make the vehicle feel a little bit smaller than it actually is. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, Instagram, leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Lexus of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2023 Lexus UX 250 for our car review. It's funny because I could actually hear the engine before I hear it escalate through the speakers. So it's two different sounds. It's very unique.